Welcome, everybody. Very much appreciate your participation and attendance this afternoon. It's an exciting moment for Duke. Again, very excited for Duke women's basketball, Duke athletics, and also for Duke University. I would be remiss if I didn't simply say at the top here, all of us at Duke hope your loved ones are safe and healthy. The popular quip out there seems to be something around, these are unprecedented times. That seems to me to be a very serious understatement for this particular moment in history. So again, we just hope your loved ones are safe and healthy, and that you're okay. I am extremely honored to introduce our topic this afternoon, and it's the announcement of Kara Lawson as our head women's basketball coach here at Duke. All of you have undoubtedly harvested all the relevant information, data, quotes, etc., from both Art Chase and Lindy Brown. So I'll try not to be redundant, and I'm going to move quickly. Before turning to my esteemed colleague, Senior Deputy AD Nina King, who was the architect, the facilitator, the chair of our 10-day national search. Please allow me to just share a few thoughts before I turn it to Nina. First and foremost, unequivocally, Duke University is inordinately honored and proud to introduce Kara Lawson to the entire Duke family and to all of you, members of the media, if not the whole country on this day. Per my statement on Saturday, Kara is a highly seasoned champion at every level, for she has a peerless track record of success. I think if you don't know that at this point, then you're living under a rock. That's very clear if you're paying attention. I'm going to say it one more time, a peerless track record of success. Kara is very authentic, which really jumped out at me, and has jumped out at me over the time I've known Kara, wherein she's extraordinarily comfortable in her own skin, which is one of the truly great leadership characteristics. And Kara has that in abundance. She is incredibly authentic and comfortable with who she is, what she represents, and how she operates. Kara's a natural leader, which is indeed very easy and easy to document and well documented. Very natural in the way she leads. She possesses a contemporary vision for women's collegiate basketball, and notwithstanding for college athletics generally, has a really good pulse of where things currently are. Kara is extremely passionate about coaching and enjoys an unabashed commitment relative to the plight of the student athlete. Again, within this respective era, very plugged in. In addition, Kara is highly empathetic by design, terribly task-oriented, and exceedingly prideful, and possesses what I call the adaptability gene, wherein Kara has continually demonstrated situational leadership and flexibility throughout her amazing career. And I think that's an extraordinary asset, the adaptability gene. And I'm going to pin that one on Kara. She has that, as my kids might say, for days. She's very adaptable. Finally, Kara has a distinctive track record relative to not only developing very strong as well as deeply rooted relationships, but Kara also is truly gifted in maintaining, if not enhancing, those highly valued relationships over time. Yes, indeed, Duke is very, very excited, to say the least, to have Kara lead our outstanding program. So without further ado, now let me turn to Nina King, who will provide the anatomy of the search, as well as formally introduce Kara Lawson. For Nina is our women's basketball administrator. So Nina, please take it away.
Great, thank you, Kevin. Good afternoon. It's great to see everyone, even via Zoom. Obviously, we introduced you to our new head coach this past Saturday, but today is an opportunity to formally welcome head women's basketball coach Kara Lawson to the Duke family. Before I turn it over to Kara, let me briefly take you through the process that took place over the past week plus. On July 2nd, we engaged Collegiate Sports Associates to conduct a national search for us. Our main priority was to work swiftly and as efficiently as we could, given the unique nature of the times we're experiencing. We've had a great track record of success with Todd Turner and CSA. They've assisted us here at Duke in securing now 7 outstanding current Duke head coaches. We enjoy a tremendous relationship with Todd Turner, Drew Turner, and their colleagues, and we're truly appreciative for all of their hard work in getting us to this point today. So along with CSA, we vetted and evaluated over 20 serious candidates. From there, we had conversations with 6 and then invited 2 for finalist interviews before announcing our selection on Saturday. I'd like to thank several people that assisted us in the process. First and foremost, President Vince Price, along with select members of the Board of Trustees that we worked with. We thank them for their unwavering support throughout all of this. A big thank you to the internal committee that participated in the interview process: Dr. Chris Kennedy, Troy Austin, Heather Ryan, Gina Bradley, Dr. Martha Patalis, Kirsten Kimmel, Sue Gordon, Kim Hewitt, and Christoph Gutentag. Additionally, Maggie Epps, Kyle Kavanaugh, and Meg Richards and others in council's office were incredibly instrumental campus colleagues that helped us get to the finish line here. I'd like to thank student athletes Jade Williams, Michaela Boykin, and Aname Akinbody James for their participation in the process. And finally, a huge thanks to Dr. Kevin White for your leadership and guidance throughout this whole process as well. Kara Lawson is the perfect fit for Duke University, Duke Athletics, and more specifically, Duke women's basketball. She has an incredibly high basketball IQ. She knows the game, having played it and coached it at the highest levels. She's a teacher, a mentor, leader, and a champion, and I have no doubt she'll have immeasurable impact on past, present, and future Blue Devils. Kara is a relationship person. Everyone that we talk to praised her ability to connect in a meaningful way with players, colleagues. She connects with everyone around her, and I felt that instantly when I had conversations with Kara. You've seen all of her accolades and accomplishments. As both Dr. White and I just mentioned, Kara is a champion. She'll undoubtedly bring that championship mentality to Duke. So with that, I am absolutely thrilled to introduce you to Duke women's basketball head coach, Kara Lawson.
Thank you, Nina. Thank you, Kevin. What an incredible moment. Still pretty surreal for me. I do want to thank President Price, Coach K, Coach Cutcliffe, just their impact on me, not only through the process, but relationships I've had with both Coach K and Coach Cutcliffe over the years. Couldn't be walking into a situation any better as a first-time head coach to have those two men as mentors. And so I'm really looking forward to learn from them and enjoy being a part of the Duke Athletics department. This is a dream come true for me. I've wanted to be a coach since I was a kid. And I guess you would say I took kind of a circuitous route to get there, but I'm here now and so excited about the opportunity to help shape young women, to help grow their games, to help grow their personalities, help them mature throughout their college years. And when I look at Duke University and how special a place that it is, the type of player and person that we have in our program, that we want to have in our program, that we've had in our program, I think that's really important. This game has always been about players. Certainly, if you ask any player, they'll tell you that it is. But even as a coach, it's about the players. And so I've tried to spend my first few hours or a couple days reaching out to our players, to past players as well, and then to some hopefully future players. So we're really excited, and I just can't wait. Mom, I saw you wore Duke blue. My mom's on the call, everybody. There's my mom. She got the right color. So that's pretty exciting. So I didn't have any glue in the bubble, so I did my best here. But just want to thank everyone for coming to the press conference. And Lindy, I don't know if we're going to open up for questions. I hope we are, if all these people aren't here for nothing.
Yep. So we'll open up for questions again. If you want to use your raise hand feature, and we can start calling you and unmute you, and you will also have to unmute yourself as well. Well, first off, why don't we start out with Mark Armstrong?
Yeah, hi, Kara. Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
You spoke of the dream of becoming a coach. I don't imagine you ever probably anticipated your first job would be at a place like Duke. So what are the inherent pressures of that being your first job out of the gate as a coach, and what are the opportunities there?
Be surprised at some of the stuff I dream, but I think I knew I wanted to coach, but Mark, as you know, a lot of this is timing and being in the right situation and learning and growing. I knew it would happen later because I was playing for 13 years in the WNBA and didn't want to coach at that time. There are some players that coach concurrent to their playing career. That wasn't something that really spoke to me. I wanted to put every single thing I had into playing, and that's what I did, and didn't really get focused on coaching or become focused on coaching until I finished my playing career. So summer of 2016 was my first summer that I didn't play in the WNBA, and that's when just started to give some real thought to what I wanted to do post-career, and just started trying things, honestly, just trying things. And that's how I got involved with USA Basketball and coaching 3-on-3, coaching high school players, and just fell in love with it and wanted to continue to find ways to be around the game and find places I could coach.
Okay, we'll next go to Charles Hallman. Charles, just unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Congratulations, Cara, for your job.
Thank you.
Just can you speak on the fact that you are among the latest wave of Black or female coaches of color that's being hired recently in women's basketball? How you feel about being a part of that, as well as just your overall thoughts? I know you said you're still getting over it. What single thing you have to do right away as you're now the new coach at Duke?
Well, I'm excited for all those women with their opportunities. I'm friends with all of them, so we obviously know each other, being a part of the basketball family. So I spoke with Niele yesterday. I spoke with Dawn Staley this morning. Spoke with Tina Thompson over text. I mean, those are people that I know, that I've known for a long time, that I've either played with, played against. Dawn coached me in USA Basketball. So Nikki McCray, who I've known since I was in high school. So yeah, just really happy for their success, really happy for their opportunities, and certainly want them to succeed at the highest level. I think the world of all of them, and I'm certainly hopeful that they're going to have great careers. As far as the single thing that are my priority right now is getting to know our players and getting to know recruits. That's the priority right now, and that's what I've been spending most of my time doing. Is just trying to get to know our players and get to know some of the players that are in high school now.
Okay, I hear some of you are having problems with the hands feature, so if you do have a question and that's not working, just make a note in the chats and we'll get you in there. Next, we'll go to Brendan Marks.
Hey, Kara, congratulations, first off.
Thanks, man.
Staying safe down in the bubble. I'm just
Yeah.
wondering if you can sort of walk us through the process from your perspective. Obviously, I'm sure it was complicated by the virtual nature of everything, but what was so enticing to you, and why is this moment right for you to sort of assume this job?
Yeah, going through the process, it was great because I had an opportunity to meet with so many people that have an impact on the university in different ways. Whether it was Kevin, Nina, Coach K, Christoph. I mean, I met with probably 13 to 14 people associated with the university in some way. As you said, they were all via Zoom. Being down here in Orlando, that was actually during a period I was not allowed out of my room during the quarantine. So actually made the day go by a little bit faster. I probably would have just been staring at the walls. But it was a great process. Just getting to know all of the people, getting to know, getting to hear about, getting to feel their love for the university, and getting a chance to share my thoughts about their institution, their program, and what I saw, the potential that I saw in it. So yeah, I thought it was a good process, and I'm fortunate that I was selected as the person that they wanted to lead their program.
Great, thanks. We'll go to Doug Feinberg next.
Dougie Fresh.
Hey, Kara, congratulations. Two-part question. I read Michelle's story that your dad wanted you to go to Duke years ago, or thought that Duke was a place that would be good for you when you were looking at colleges. Is that all true, and how serious was it potentially? And the second part is just, what do you think Coach Summitt's first words of advice to you as a new coach would be?
The mom was the one that wanted me to go to Duke.
Your mom, okay.
Yeah, she's wearing a Duke blue right now.
Okay.
Mom was the one that wanted me to go to Duke. My dad wanted me to go to Stanford, and I picked Tennessee. There you go. That's how that was worked out. Yeah, what would Coach Summitt say to me? Oh, man. I don't know. I think she'd just be really excited. She obviously knew that it was a goal of mine to become a coach. That was why I went to play for her, was because I wanted to become a coach and I wanted to learn from the best. And that was what led me to Knoxville. And I couldn't have had a better experience playing for her, learning from her. And I think she'd be pretty excited. I don't know if she'd be wearing blue. She'd probably be on the call, but I'm not sure she'd be wearing blue. But she would be so happy that I think anytime as a coach you watch one of your players, achieve a dream of theirs, it's something that's really fulfilling. So I think she'd be smiling.
Thanks, Kara.
All right, we'll next go to Steve Wiseman.
Hey, Kara. If you can see me here, I'm getting a little bit of unstable connection. But I did want to ask you, you took the job with the Celtics last year. Do you have a list of schools that you thought might come open, you might have a chance to pursue if a head coaching job came up in women's college basketball? Or did you think, what was your career path when you came into the NBA, and how you worked through that?
I can't say I had it planned out. Most of the time I plan things out in life, they end up not happening exactly how you think it's going to happen, right? I mean, that's certainly been my journey. I'm sure that's consistent with some of your journeys as well. Yeah, I mean, Brad referenced this yesterday. We went for a walk a few months ago. Brad Stevens, our Celtics head coach, and his wife Tracy, and just had an honest conversation about the future and what were some of my goals. And I won't share them all with you, but what I will say is one of the places that I would have loved at that time, would have loved to have an opportunity to coach, was Duke. And I didn't share that with, I don't know, very many people, probably just my family and Brad. There wasn't too many people that knew that, but I knew that if it ever came open, that I was going to try and put my best foot forward and try and see if I could secure the position. That's how highly I thought of the institution. That's how highly I thought of the job, and certainly had no idea that it would happen a year after I went to Boston. So to answer your question, it was not in the plans, so to speak. But when the right opportunity comes along, you have to take it. And that's the same process that I used to join the Celtics a year ago, was a similar process that I used this year. I think when you find a place that their values align with yours and they have a high standard that they hold themselves to, if that fits and you can feel that, if that fits, then it's probably the right place for you. And that's what I felt about the Celtics when I first talked with Brad Stevens and Danny Ainge, and that's what I felt about Duke when I first talked with Nina King and Kevin White. And so it is very similar in that regard. But no, I didn't intend to have a 12-month stay in the NBA. That certainly wasn't my intention. I thought I'd be there for a while.
Thank you.
All right. We'll go to JB Ricks next.
Hey, Coach. JB Ricks here from Spectrum News 1. First and foremost, congratulations on this great opportunity for you, and thank you for taking out time for us.
Sure.
My question for you is that you're one of the pioneers when it comes to the NBA and being one of the first female assistant coaches in the NBA. How will you take those experiences that you learned through that process and apply that to becoming the first African-American head coach for Duke women's basketball? How will you, take those experiences and apply that to now?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think the diversity of my experiences are my strength, and I think, this is a day and age where we're talking a lot about diversity. We're having a lot of needed conversations about diversity. And if you really believe in it, that it creates great value for your organization. And I think the same about experiences. I think having been around the game in a number of capacities is a strength, is a strength that I bring to this position. Understanding the game as a player, understanding the game from the college perspective, from the pro perspective, from the women's perspective, from the men's perspective, from a coaching perspective, from a media perspective. There's so many things that I've experienced. And so I think I'll bring all of that to the position. And I think that that's what made me a unique candidate for this position. And I think there's just strength in diversity of your experiences. And that's something that I strive to do, even all through my playing career, was to find ways to continue to improve and to find areas that I felt uncomfortable in and to try and master them. And I think just challenging yourself and, not just daily, but challenging yourself in certain scenarios is powerful, because that's where you get the fastest growth as a person, is when you're being challenged. And this is going to be challenging, and I'm excited for it.
Thank you so much, Coach. Congratulations.
Thanks, JB.
Next, we'll go to Jim Sumner.
Kara, hi. Congratulations and welcome to Duke. About 20 years too late. What will a Carol Lawson coach Duke's basketball team look like? Don't be afraid to get down into the weeds. What kind of offense we're going to see? What kind of defense do you plan on going on a deep bench? Or are you going to play 7 players? Just talk about what we're going to see.
Yeah, I'll tell you the story. I was coaching a 3-on-3 team in 2018. And we went down to Buenos Aires, Argentina. We played in the Youth Olympic Games. Had some really good players on that team, young players, high school players that are really, really talented. And we ran certain offenses. Obviously, you look at the skills of your players and try to say, hey, how can I really augment their skills and their strengths? And won the gold medal. Great team, very dominant team. And so the next year, had a new group of players. This is 2019, last year. And brought them over to Mongolia to play in the World Cup. And the first couple of days of practice, started to implement a lot of the actions that were very successful for us the previous year, albeit with different players. And it was not a fit. It did not work. And I remember going home after the second night of practice and kind of ripping the playbook up and saying, this isn't going to work for this group. We've got to find something that works for them and aligns with their skill sets. So you changed. And, I think Kevin brought up a good word, adaptability. I'm not going to sit here and say we're going to play this way, we're going to play that way. I think the ability to be adaptable in your processes, the ability to have players that are adaptable is vital. So, I'm not going to make any grandiose statements about what we're going to do or who we're going to be. I just think we're going to figure out what works for us, and we're going to strive to master that. And I think if you keep it simple in terms of your goals, then that gives you a chance to really achieve them.
Thank you.
Great. Next, we'll go to Gary Washburn with the Boston Globe.
We can't hear you, Gary. There we go. We got you, man.
Okay. Congratulations on the position. Two questions. One, how did the NBA and the Celtics make it comfortable for you to be a female assistant coach? I know you had different locker rooms on the road. What was it like, that experience of being in the league? And two, can you talk about some of the bonds that you built in Boston, how tough it would be to leave some of the guys who you were very close to, but how the experience will help you for this next challenge?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the second one first. You're gonna try to get me to start crying here on the Zoom, Gary. It's been an emotional 3 days. Man, it's been tough, I think it's the relationships that makes basketball special. And I've built a lot of deep relationships with these guys. And I think any coach that's leaving a place and going to another place knows that feeling, and it's hard to leave. And certainly the relationships that I've built all over the roster, all over the coaching staff. It's difficult. You're with these guys every day. Obviously, you guys are with us every day too, following us around the country. But you're with your players every day. In this bubble scenario, we eat every meal together. We're around each other all the time, and they're special, and our team is special. And I had a chance to talk to them before practice yesterday. Jason Tatum is obviously very excited, and JT, we started off our practice around the circle, and JT gave a great introduction and how excited he was for me to be at Duke now. And Jaylen Brown came up to me and said he never thought he would cheer for Duke, and now he's going to cheer for Duke. And just the support of those guys, the texts, every day they come up to me, even if they've already told me congratulations, they come up to me again every day since it's happened. They're just so excited. They, Ennis Cantor wants a courtside seat. Kevin White, we're going to have to work on that for the games. But the guys are thrilled for the opportunity, and so happy for me, as well as the coaches. And I confided in Brad a lot during this process. Obviously he's somebody with a tremendous amount of experience, a tremendous amount of fielded a lot of offers when he was at Butler in terms of opportunities, whether it was other colleges, whether it was the NBA. And Brad and his wife, Tracy, were vital for me during this process, just to be able to bounce ideas off of them as they had been through it. And so I love these guys. I told them that yesterday. They can always come down to Durham and stay with me and come to the games wherever they are. And we'll obviously still stay in touch, but what you miss, Gary, is you miss that everyday contact that you're used to seeing. So I know my time is running out with them. I won't be here much longer with them, but I think we're going to have a dinner tomorrow as a group. And I forgot your first question because I got a little too emotional. Sorry.
Oh, just the how did the NBA and the Celtics accommodate you as a woman? I know you had special dressing rooms on the road. What was it like to be a female coach in that 1 year?
It was fantastic. And you know, I was with Allison Feaster a lot, even though she's not a coach on the court with us. She's obviously a part of our front office, and you know, what a special person she is. And we have a unique bond going through our first year together, her in the front office and me on the coaching staff. And so it didn't feel very lonely because I always had somebody there. And it didn't feel very lonely because they made me feel so welcome. You know, everything, people would ask me a lot through the year, well, what is it like? I mean, you go in the, you know, in the locker rooms or around the guys, and it just felt normal. I never felt like I stuck out. I felt normal, like a part of the staff and a part of the team. And, you know, I'm really going to miss seeing everyone every day.
All right, next we'll go to John Corrales.
Kara, Marcus Smart made it a point to talk about your bond with him and the fact that you chose to work with him right away. Can you speak to a little bit about that? And do you have any kind of things that you've learned from Brad Stevens as a head coach, watching him, and that you might be taking with you?
Oh, you guys are killing me, Boston guys, with these questions, getting me going about my players. Marcus. In fact, today at practice, Marcus and I met in Orlando. It was the first time we ever met. We met in Orlando. He was playing at Oklahoma State, and I was working an ESPN game. And we were at the gym where we first met today, and we realized it like in the middle of practice that was where we had first met when he was a college student. So that was cool. I love Marcus Smart. He is such a unique player, and you know, he's a player with texture, you know, and I think it takes a special palate to really love how smart he plays. And he is a fantastic leader. He is above everything a beautiful competitor, and that's my favorite thing about him, is how he competes and the confidence that he has. And I loved working with him every single day. It kept me busy. It keeps you creative, and it just makes the game fun. So I'm going to miss him a lot. Obviously, we're friends, and we're going to continue to be friends.
Nina, Kevin, if you heard the preamble to my question there, I guess, Nina, can you give a little perspective on, you know, what's progressed in the collegiate game from the women's side that is important, and how you guys look to choose a new coach at this point in time?
Sure. Well, I think Kevin said it well. I mean, we were looking for a contemporary leader. Obviously, Kara has been around the women's college game throughout the past several years, you know, during her not only broadcasting career, but working with USA 3-on-3 and coaching high school and collegiate women. And so her experiences, just kind of the whole package, where she's been, all of those experiences to date, I mean, really solidified for us why she was a great fit. Kevin, you have anything to add to that?
I don't know that I have much to add, other than young people today in this generation are pretty darn savvy. And I think you need to be plugged into who they are and what they're thinking, and maybe more importantly, how they're feeling. And I felt Kara really gave us a very strong chance to do that at a very high level.
Thank you for that response.
We'll next go to Rob Clow. He has a question for Nina as well.
Hey, Nina, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Great. Nina, Rob Clow, dwhoops.com. Regarding the search, I have two questions. What roles did Michaela and Onome play in the process, in terms of, did they have a chance to talk to the coaches? Did they have a chance to give input as to who the best choice was? And the second question is, if you'd care to share who the other 5 final candidates were.
Second question, no. First
Okay.
First question, Michaela, Jade, and Oname all participated. When Kara became our top candidate, we had them spend some time having a conversation with Kara so that we could get their feedback. This day and age, we certainly want student athlete feedback in a lot of parts of the process. And so we really valued what they had to say, and they obviously had a great conversation with Kara and are all in.
Okay, I think Charles Hallman has a question for Nina as well.
Charles, you're on mute.
You hear me now?
Yes.
Nina, just could you speak about your role as a woman of color in this search process? As I asked Carl earlier about just being a part of this current wave regarding hiring women of color as college basketball coach, especially the Power 5 level.
Sure. I mean, I think now is a really important time, critical time, where we're placing great emphasis on diversity. I am a proud woman of color, proud to be a leader here at this university. And the opportunity to head up this process is not lost on me. And so I'm grateful to Dr. White again for giving me this opportunity, and really happy to be a role model for young women who are wanting to get into this business, and seeing people that look like them in leadership roles. So it was a great honor, again, one that's not lost on me, and I'm looking forward to continuing to grow the pipeline in terms of coaching as well as administration. Need to make sure that we're focusing on giving those opportunities to young women and women of color, from interns on up the ladder, making sure we're building and investing in the pipeline.
Okay, we'll next go to Jim Sumner. You have a question for Dr. White?
Yeah, Kevin, over the weekend you spoke about Kara's, I think the term you used was emotional intelligence. Can you kind of define that and elaborate a little bit on that?
I'm not sure that my definition of emotional intelligence would be shared by the world, but here's my best attempt at it. I find Kara to be somebody that's very instinctive, very worldly, if not globally experienced. And my instinct is, I think you combine that with maybe more traditionally based intelligence, and that's kind of what I characterize as emotional intelligence. I mean, she really does understand. I used the word empathy when I spoke here today. I find her to be incredibly empathetic. I think she knows where the buttons are. I think she knows how people operate. She has the ability to put herself in their position. And I would characterize all of that under emotional intelligence.
Thank you.
Okay, we're still waiting for Kara to get back. Anybody have any other questions for Kevin and Nina while we're waiting for Kara? Sue Faber, do you have a question for Nina or Kevin?
Oh, actually, I just had one for Kara, but thank you.
Okay. Thanks for everyone's patience as we
Kind of fritzed out down here, so I apologize.
All right, why don't we go to Chris Lee? Do you have a question for Kara?
There you go. Hey, how you doing, Coach Lawson, today?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Good. I wanted to ask about your TV analyst career and how you think it maybe helped you with all the game footage study that you had to do with ESPN, and how you think it helped prepare you to become a head coach like you are right now.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot to be gained from working on the broadcasting side, because it allows you access to follow and interact with so many different coaches and programs, watch practices, watch shoot-arounds, watch games, preseason, conference tournaments, postseason. So there's a lot to learn, and definitely took a lot of notes and learned a lot from the film. So I think the main thing I learned is that there's a lot of ways to be successful. You know, not every coach practices the same way. Not every coach has the same offensive and defensive philosophies. They find what works for them, what works for their players, and then you know, they hold all the people in their program to a standard. At least the successful ones do. So I think it was more of just fun to watch creatively how different coaches attack, you know, certain dilemmas, how different coaches have conversations with how they deal with certain issues, you know, whether it's on the court or off the court with players, whether it's within their universities. You know, college coaches have certainly been great with sharing information with me over my time in broadcasting. And so I think I've gained a lot of insights into how to run a program. It's still different than actually running a program, for sure. It's a difference, but it is nice to be able to go around and talk with different people that have had success and see what they think the keys are.
Cool. Thank you for your answer, and welcome to the Triangle.
Thank you.
Okay, Michelle Vopel from ESPN.com.
Yeah. Kara, can you talk at all about what you're looking for in a staff?
Sure. Pretty short experience. That's what I'm looking for. I think just like playing, you want to put together a group that fits together and that can accentuate each other's strengths, that can cover each other's blind spots. And when you do that as a team, you have a really good chance to be successful if you build it the right way. And I believe the same thing about staffs. And so that's what I'm looking for.
All right, well, let's go to Sue Favor.
Hey, hi, Kara. Congratulations. Really excited for you.
Thank you, Sue.
You bet. Hey, just maybe, can you talk a little bit about what is your coaching philosophy and how are you going to go in and execute that philosophy, especially during the unusual circumstance that we're in where you may have to do it virtually for a little while?
I think my philosophy would be relationships, building relationships. I think that's important. If you want to go, if you want to be able to push players to achieve, to push them to be great, I think you have to build a strong foundation with your relationship with them. So I would say philosophically, relationship-based program.
And then you're planning to keep Zooming with everyone, I suppose?
I'm planning to be in Durham with the players in a few weeks, start classes in a month. So I've Zoomed with them for now, but I'll see them. I'll see them a lot once the semester starts and they come back.
Great, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's go to Jasmine Fritz with Buzz Sports Radio.
Hi, congratulations, Kara. Two questions. What has the outpouring of support meant to you? And then I know you said you had been reaching out to recruits. So how do you foresee recruiting happening as a whole, given that there's a lot of uncertainty with an upcoming season?
Yeah, the outpouring has been phenomenal. I mean, you see how far and wide and how proud the Duke family is. And I'm not going to sit up here and name drop, but my phone is just completely blown up with well wishes from so many esteemed Duke alums. And I couldn't be happier to be able to represent them and represent this program. So it's been uplifting. It's been inspiring is what the response has been. And I'm trying my best to get back with as many people as possible and get on the phone with as many people as possible. So that's been really neat to see. Talk to a bunch of former players and, to hear the excitement in their voice is really fulfilling. As far as recruiting, I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty around everything right now. But the one thing, you can do is still build relationships like you would in recruiting via texting and phone calls. And so that's what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to work on. And, I don't know. I'm probably a bad person to ask how it's going to affect, because this is all I know right now. So I don't have anything to compare it to, but hopefully, whatever the circumstances are, if we're adaptable, it'll work out in Duke's favor.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, we'll next go to Mitchell Northam.
Hey, Coach, congrats on the new job. Just wanted to ask you, I don't know how much time in the past year, because of your job at the Celtics, how much time you got to watch women's college basketball. But if you did, or if you watched the film recently, just curious of your overall impressions of the ACC and this Duke team as it's kind of currently constructed, and, what kind of their potential is.
Yeah, I didn't watch a ton of women's college basketball this year. You're correct. Not with an 82-game season. So, that's what I have to be working through here. That's when I get to Durham here in a couple days. All the games are loaded on my computer and other things that I've requested. And so I'll be knocking those out pretty quickly. So can't say I can give you a fair assessment right now, but I want to make sure any assessment that I give, I want to make sure that it's informed. I'm not going to just talk off the cuff, but we're going to get down and dirty here with the film and try and see exactly where we are. That's one thing I always loved about film as a player, as a coach. I used to watch the film right after the games when I played, get home and watch it, because it tells you where you are. Like you can think you're somewhere else, you can think you're somewhere above or below, but the film tells you where you are. So yeah, I'm going to get started on that ASAP.
All right, we'll next go to Alyssa Ray with CBS 17.
Yeah, Kara, you've worked with some great coaches under Pat Summitt, one of the best coaches. To have Coach K as your counterpart, how excited are you to kind of have him as a sounding board and to be able to be next to somebody like that?
I think it's going to be great to work alongside Coach K. I mean, what an awesome representative of Duke. It's inspiring to see how he's built that program. And it's one of the things, we talked about when I visited with him when he came to Duke after being a head coach for 5 years at West Point, and how it was a big step up for him to go from West Point to now the ACC. And, he shared some great insight with me on that transition for him, and very supportive. I've known Coach K since 2008 in Beijing. He was the coach of the men's team, and I was there with the women's team. And we actually walked to the opening ceremonies, to the stadium together, and had a great conversation. And would come back and do some of his. Sorry about that. Would come back and do some of his. Watch some of his practices, obviously as a broadcaster, and have a great relationship with a lot of the former guys on the staff, Cape, Wojo, Chris, all those guys reached out to me, and obviously Shire, Nolan, Nate, I've known since high school. So a lot of great connections with the men's side of the program.
Great. We'll next go to Tom Shanahan with the USBWA.
Hey, congratulations. Hey, I wanted to ask you, 15, 20 years ago, Coach Summitt was mentioned. Maybe she should be the Tennessee men's coach. And back then, people might have scoffed at it. Maybe less so nowadays with women like you coaching the men. So I just wondered if you could kind of bring that all together. How did the Celtics players receive you and respect you? And maybe 20 years ago, a men's player wouldn't respect you. And are the men's and women's games maybe a lot closer than they used to be? And one final addendum for you to consider is, John Wooden, in his latter years, talked about how he enjoyed the women's game more than the men's game because there was less one-on-one play.
Yeah, I think the Celtics players have embraced me. I mean, there wasn't an adjustment period. It didn't seem like at all. They absolutely were listened and respected from day one. And I think players respect players, and That's been very evident in my time here with the Celtics. I think one of the things that coaching USA basketball 3-on-3, I coached high school girls and I coached high school boys, and that was how I started coaching, officially started coaching, and I was very comfortable in both spaces. So are there some differences? Sure, but not as many as you would think. It's a, I wouldn't say it's a transition. It's the bigger transition is levels. I think rules are different, and so that changes how you attack on each end differently. But as far as going between coaching men or coaching women, that tends to be pretty seamless. Another positive about our team's super young here in Boston, and because of that, it's a lot of college age guys. I think we have 8 guys, 24 years and under, and so that age group is, right smack dab that I'll be coaching at Duke.
Okay, we have time for one more question for Kara. She's got another commitment to make it to, and then there is a couple of follow-ups for Kevin and Nina if y'all are all right to stay on. Let's next go to Mitchell Gladstone with the last question here. All right. Tell you what, we'll JB, you have one final question really quick? JB Ricks?
My question was for Dr. White. Is that okay?
Okay. Yep, we can hold on. Mark Armstrong.
I was actually wondering if Mom can give us her reaction since she's on the call. Is that a possibility?
Mom doesn't give interviews. And that's not me blocking her. She has never done that. So
okay, all right.
Well,
okay, well then I've got one for you in the absence of that. There's probably some bridge building that's going to be involved with you taking this job over. The attendance has dropped off quite precipitously in the last few years. Have you looked at that portion of your job, taking over the program?
Yeah, I think anytime you take over a college program, you have to look at engaging all the constituents, right? And all the people that surround the program, and making sure that they feel invested in what you're doing and what you hope to build, and believe in kind of what you hope to build. And that's why I first started my first couple days reaching out to the players. I've talked to a number of former players, probably, I don't know, maybe 24, and just trying to, introduce myself to them. A lot of them are my friends, so I'm not, a lot of them I've known for a long time. So those were obviously fun calls, but some, straight up cold calls, talking to people, and just trying to share with them what my vision of the program is, how I foresee them being a part of it, and them being able to just, really come back and be a part of the group, whether it's coming to practices, coming to shoot-arounds, coming to games. I just think that would be awesome.
All right.
Thank you. Yep.
We're going to have to cut Kara short. She's got another commitment to go to. I hate we didn't get everybody's question today, but just reach out to me. We can try to work you in at some point. Kevin and Nina, if you wouldn't mind staying on, and we have a few more questions for you both. But
Will do.
You joining us for everything. And thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. We'll start with JB. I think you have a question for Dr. White.
Yes, sir. Dr. White, thank you for taking out time for us. We heard Kara talk about all of the congratulations that she's been getting. She's highly respected within the coaching circles, and she is a big name when it comes to basketball, especially for the women's game. I'm curious to know from your end, as far as how much of a factor that played, and not only hiring someone who had the high basketball pedigree, but also bringing in somebody who would bring a splash, who would have that name that could bring that big splash to the Duke women's basketball program.
I would say that it wasn't lost on us who Kara Lawson is or has been, and we know she has a brand. I have to be very honest with you and say That had very little to do with it. We wanted to hire the very best leader coach that could take our program to the next level. This isn't a press conference hire. This is hopefully this is a very long-term relationship with Duke University, and I think we looked at it pretty methodically, and I'm convinced, absolutely convinced, we got to the right place. The outpouring of support and the positive reaction is beyond my wildest expectation. I didn't quite imagine what it could be, what it might be. But quite frankly, I'm going to say it one more time, that's not what we were looking for.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, next, Michelle Vopel from ESPN.com has a question for Nina King.
Yeah. Nina, I guess, with other elements of hiring in academia, there are minimum requirements, if you will. It seems like in coaching, that's not the case. I don't just mean in this case, I mean across the board in coaching, because you get so many different types of candidates. How do you gauge Kara not having coached at all in college versus all the candidates you had who had extensively more experience? How did you guys gauge what her other experiences were versus people who had a ton of experience doing this particular job that she hasn't done yet? How do you gauge those when you're making a decision?
Sure. I mean, I think it was the kind of sum total of all of Kara's experiences. And, I mean, she even said it, while she hasn't been a college coach, she spent thousands of hours at practices and talking to coaches and around student athletes, during her time as a broadcaster. And then again, during her time as USA Basketball 3-on-3 coach, she's been with a college student athlete. So she's not coming into the college scene from scratch. It's just a different and unique experience. And so I think in just kind of looking at the total package, Kara had it all for us. And we were really excited to bring her into the mix. And when we were evaluating all of our candidates, they all had unique experiences and unique characteristics. And again, for us, Kara just rose to the top.
Thank you.
Okay, Mitchell Northam, I think you have a question for Kevin, Nina.
Yeah, and either one of you guys can take this. Just curious how unexpected Coach P's resignation was, and if sort of this time of year, it being kind of the middle of July, if that made the search process any more difficult or a bit more limited, considering a lot of hires in women's college basketball were made a couple months ago.
I think either one of us could respond, and I would think you would get the same response. It was Coach P's decision to step down at this point in time. And what made it complicated is this little thing called COVID. And I've done this a long time. It's almost 4 decades I've been an AD, and I've never had a press conference on a Zoom before. But I mean, everything about this has been challenging. But my gosh, are we excited about the place we've landed. I couldn't be more excited.
Wonderful. Well, I appreciate everyone for joining today. Of course, we're delighted to have Kara Lawson as our new women's basketball coach. If you have any other needs, just don't hesitate to reach out to myself. I think everyone has my email, phone number, and we will take care of it. But thanks, everyone, and look forward to seeing you in Cameron, hopefully, this coming season.